We're doing our best we can to put these together, stay on top of everything as news comes out. Hopefully everyone saw the email from Eric, which was a good a reminder that the season's progressing as expected. And what we're going to do is go through what we have today. And Craig Benson, we're going to give him a few minutes at the end to talk about the schedule. But George, is there anything else that you want to add to the group?
I think I've covered it. My concern is just as many people as possible can get online and be with us, so that we're on the same page when we all get onto the field, and we all look the same. Well, except for me. Just absorb what's being presented to you. That's my message.
Yeah, and with that, I'm just going to say what we're presenting here is important, but we still we need everyone to take ownership of their own training and development as well. Jeff has put a lot of stuff onto the website for us. And yeah, I know I'm talking to new guys mostly, but all the veterans need to be aware of the minor changes. Eric does a good job of pointing those out. But some of the rules and some of the nuances do evolve. And frankly, we're in a different time now with COVID, and for example, how we may be doing face-offs may be different, or how we're interacting with coaches and the face-off men or the captains at the beginning of a game. All that's going to, maybe get more direction from the VLOA as we go. But, without a doubt, Shannon has put together a lot. Shannon has done a lot, significant effort to put this presentation together. So we really appreciate everyone getting on, and, we're not going to, I'm not going to keep babbling here. I'm going to let Shannon get into this. We're going to talk about technical fouls, and we're really looking to highlight a few of the important parts of technical fouls that we may see the most often, that maybe leave some for more interpretation. And we're just going to try to generate some discussion here, and we're looking for input as well. So this entire presentation there is a link in the chat. Jeff has done that. So, grab that, save it so you can access this. We're going to try to have it on the VLOA website as well. So, Shannon, please go right ahead.
Jeff, are you ready? We'll just get started.
Yep.
This presentation is just purely technical fouls. Go ahead. I lost it. I didn't move this over. This is harder. Now I lost my notes. Hold on.
Yeah, well, hey, go ahead.
My whole screen.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jeff.
Here we go. Okay. So technical fouls are those of less serious nature than personal fouls, include all violations of the rules of the game. So illegal procedures. There are like 25 illegal procedures. Penalty for technical fouls. We'll go over this a couple times at the beginning and then the end. If the team fouled has possession of the ball, or there's a flag down on the offending team's player, the penalty shall be 30 seconds. If the ball is loose and there's no flag down, award the ball to the team that was fouled. So for technical fouls, if A has possession and B gets a technical foul, then it's flag down, slow whistle ensues. If A has the ball and A has a technical foul, then it's a turnover. So it's either if the offense has a technical foul, it's a turnover, and nobody's going to be serving time unless we have an exception, which we'll go over after all the technical fouls are shown. Go ahead, Jeff. So the major technical fouls here, you see there's 9 or 10 of them. These are ones you're going to see more often. Crease violations, holding, offensive screens, a conduct foul, offsides, pushing. We'll talk about stalling and failure to advance a little bit. Awarding. And then the rest of these are also all technical fouls that you're going to want to look at in your book in Rule 6. Face-off violations is a large one. We'll go over those at a later time. The athletes leaving the penalty box too early. Go ahead, Jeff. So all right, we'll just start out with a test question. Player 1 jumps from outside the crease and shoots towards the goal. Ball enters the goal before he lands in the crease. When he lands, he is standing in the crease. Is this legal?
Anybody? Come on, someone take a guess.
No, it's not legal. He can't be in the crease. Or he can't land in the crease unless he was pushed.
The answer is D.
Unless he's pushed is a great point of discussion.
Doesn't matter.
Jeff, go ahead.
Well, that's incorrect.
I'll let you guys fight that out.
Well, I've got the book open to 4.9N and it doesn't say that.
I agree.
So this is the incorrect answer.
Rules interpreter, do we have input?
Is this from before not the rules interpreter, but is this from before they changed those crease rules with the airborne stuff maybe?
With having 2 feet in the ground.
I think it's
Yeah,
always been this way. Once they got rid of the dive rule, this is the rule.
Does not die.
If you leave the ground on your own volition and you end up in the crease, there's no goal, no matter what, no matter how you got there.
And this is an important difference between high school and college. Eric, you're on mute.
Unmute. How's that?
There, please. What would you say, Eric?
Well, looking at the sentence, he's not diving. He's just jumping. He could be jumping out of exuberance out there. He's outside the crease. He shoots, and the ball enters the goal before he lands in the crease. Goal is good. He is not. Yes, the ball entered the goal. Yes, because he did not dive.
Is there a difference in high school and college with the dive?
Oh, very much so. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree with you here, Eric.
Well, he's not diving.
It doesn't matter. If you read the rule, it says, if an attacking player in possession of the ball and outside the crease area dives or jumps, parentheses, becomes airborne of his own volition prior to, during, or after the release of the shot and lands in the crease, the goal shall be disallowed.
I mean, that's it. That's the discussion point. And Steve made the right call. It was his own volition. Player 1, the way this is worded is tricky. Okay, that's what it comes down to. Player 1 jumps. Did he jump to catch a pass and stuff it? Did he go straight up and down? Did he get pushed? Did he jump straight up and down, shoot, hit the ground outside the crease, the ball's in, and then he steps in as he's turning around to celebrate? That's the nuance that we're all going to be exposed to, maybe during a quick bang bang play. But know that if D sums it up. If he became airborne towards the goal and lands in that initial effort, that is what's going to.
Hold on. No, see, Steve read the first part of N. He did not read the second part of N. So all these questions come from the U.S. Lacrosse High School exam.
Exactly. Yep. I agree.
And it says in N, an attacking player may legally score a goal and touch the crease, provided the ball enters the goal before the contact with the crease and its feet are grounded prior to and during after the shot. So
Correct, but he's not grounded prior to or during the shot.
That's
It says
correct.
he
He's not
jumps.
grounded prior. That's right. The prior makes it negates what you just said.
Right.
Because it says he jumps.
So these are all taken from the U.S. Lacrosse.
Right. But this sentence says he jumps from outside the crease, shoots towards the goal. Does not say anything about landing. The ball it says he jumps and then shoots. When he lands, he is in the crease. So in this case, this goal is disallowed.
Correct. That's 100% correct. It's very clear in the book.
Yes.
You know what? It's very clear in the rule book. Okay. And maybe the wording on this question leaves some nuance, but again, the point of this discussion is not to say who's right or who's wrong, versus what did you see in the play? And some of that is going to be open to interpretation. I don't want to get hung up on the verbiage of the question so much as if we saw the video of that happen, maybe we'd have a better understanding of, okay, was it a jump that took him into that cylinder of the crease before he landed? Was he firmly planted outside with his feet planted and then shoots and scores? Here's another perfect example, and this came up too. I saw in a college game. The player had his feet planted outside the crease, but it looked to me like it was a dive. He shot, he scored, he landed in the crease. The ref said good goal because his feet were planted and he was simply falling towards the crease. So again, that's an interpretation or something that you're going to have to, be confronted with as it occurs. But
I'm going to agree with Steve Small. I don't often do this, but 4-9N is very clear.
Yeah.
It's no goal. On page 40, 4-9, then N as in Nancy. In possession of the ball and outside the crease, dives or jumps, becomes airborne of his own volition, prior to, during, or after, and he goes in the crease, the goal shall be disallowed. So no goal.
Yeah, they shouldn't have said jump in the question.
yeah, that's a good point. It's how this was worded. So, but I think this is something that we could all, think about. And moving on, when we're at a game, maybe the important thing is to get together with your partner before you put, you wave it off or you make the goal sound. That's something we got to keep in mind.
I think you have to talk every time you're going to disallow something, right? If you're going to disallow a goal, you need to talk to your partner.
And talk to him before you make the disallow sound.
Correct.
Disallow a signal. Right.
And what's the restart here?
Goalie possession.
Yeah.
Lawrence.
Once the goalie gets the ball, blow the whistle.
There you go. Good.
Point and go.
So we'll go over, we'll show 3 videos of goal crease prohibitions. So a player with possession attacks the crease, the player enters the crease, play on is called in favor of the defense. The player is considered to have entered the goal crease area when any part of his body enters the crease. This offender entered the crease. The official signal play on and the play on ended when the defense gained possession of the ball.
You can see 22, Blue steps in the crease with his left foot.
It's a 10-1.
And that's a quick, again, hands up, play on, and then turn it over and go.
So offensive player enters the crease while the ball is still alive. This player's charges the crease at full speed, hoping for a pass on the score. He's unable to arrest his own momentum and enters the crease. The ball does not go out of bounds here. It's a live ball crease violation and a turnover. It's a good call by the official, but keep an eye on the official here.
Got his arm up. Yeah.
Don't turn your back to the play.
Thank you.
Yeah, the referee here makes the right call, but then he does a 360-degree turn, turning away from the active players to give his demonstrative signal. So he should be signaling, but still looking back at those heated players. And Marlo, are you listening?
Offensive player catches a pass and receives the ball, but is unable to stay out of the crease. He enters the crease on his own. The lead official does a good job of keeping up with the transition play. The official signals that the clear is met. He focuses his attention on the ball and the ball carrier. However, the official overruns the play, finds himself struggling to get a best view of the action around the goal crease. This was most likely a missed call for a goal crease violation. So he may have wanted to stay back on like the 15, get the loop around, and look from that angle as opposed to getting down to the GLE and the 180-degree angle where he was trying to get there and he couldn't get there and see it. So if he held back, he might have been able to see and got that angle. He probably would have been able to see the goal crease violation.
You know, I would add one comment to that, because I think, you know, the way this play worked out, that's what happened. But I think we still want to be on that goal line to see if the shot maybe trickles around the goalie's legs and crosses that line or not. That's how I think we've been trained to do, is to get down there. I think if anything else that could happen is maybe that's where the trail in a two-man game, I know it's hard, but that trail should really be helping out the lead with that far side of the crease, those crease violations. If he can see that side of the crease. Again, you know, maybe not always going to work out in a fast break like this, but that's something else to keep in mind.
I think one other thing we're missing here is that we keep saying, you know, that it sort of depends on how that attacker gets in the crease. It really doesn't matter. You've either got to blow the whistle, or you've got to play on, or something going on if somebody went in the crease, period. If you got pushed legally, it doesn't matter. It turns it over. It's a technical foul. We turn it over. If he gets pushed illegally, you should have a flag down. As soon as he steps in the crease, it's over. So it doesn't matter how he gets there. It means the referee has to be doing something.
Oh, agreed. I was commenting about it, make sure it was even noticed. I think
I wasn't meaning you, Mike. We keep saying, you know, depending on how he got there, kind of a thing. It really
okay.
doesn't depend on how he gets there. However he gets there, we've got to do something.
Yeah.
It's going to either end the play. It's going to end the play one way or another, with a play on or adjudicating a foul or something.
Could I back up to echo Steve there? If you have a flag down, and then that attacking team, let's say it's a push and he pushes him into the crease, well, you'd have a flag, but you'd also have to end the play. And the coach will go, well, why are you ending the play? I mean, there's a flag down. Well, because we can't have anybody at any time during a live ball going in the crease from the attacking team. So the good news is, coach, you're going to be man up for 30, but the bad news is I had to stop the play because your player entered the crease, even though it wasn't his fault that he entered the crease. So Steve is totally right about all that.
So this is a goal re-entry. We'll see a couple slides of the other goal crease violation. Player with the dark jersey possesses the ball and then places the ball to the goalie in the crease while stepping on the goal crease line. This is an illegal re-entry of the crease, a technical foul, and a turnover change of possession. The goalkeeper intercepts a shot outside the crease with possession. He accidentally backs into the crease. This goes uncalled. He exits the crease, gets spun around, and retreats behind his own goal. He steps on the crease line. The near official spots this violation and calls a technical foul for illegal re-entry to the goal crease. This is a loss of possession. So we'll see a couple over and backs.
Shannon, I have a crease question. It's Alan. I
Go
was
ahead.
watching a college game the other day, and the clearing team had the ball, and an attackman ran through the crease to shorten his distance to ride. Is that a penalty? Nothing was called. Is that a penalty?
You said Team A had the ball and Team B ran through the crease?
The riding attackman, his team did not have the ball. He shortened his ride going through the back of the crease rather than going around it. The ball was upfield and he was chasing from behind. And he ran through the crease to shorten his distance. Nothing was called.
Offensive team ran through the crease without the ball?
Correct.
Yeah.
While the defensive team had the ball. So the crease is not off limits to an offensive player if they do not have possession?
No,
No. The
That's
guy who
flag
ran
down.
through the crease, depending on, well, that's technically a flag down.
It's a flag down, yeah.
The guy who ran through the crease, his teammate had the ball?
No, the defense is clearing the ball. The attackman ran through the crease. He's trying to ride.
Right.
That should be a flag, correct?
Yes.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
It wasn't, nobody threw one, but. Thank you.
I'll give Tommy Abbott a call. Let him know about that.
Must have been a New Hampshire ref.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
Okay, so on my other PowerPoint, the audio was playing on this, so I don't have notes for these. So this is a, go ahead. This is super quick. This is like Ohio State or somebody. I'm not sure who it is. I think it's a D1 college game. The ball goes over. You'll see the official on the far side will blow his whistle. He'll put his hand up and blow his whistle a little late right here. There it is. And then right there restarts. I mean, it's tweet. It's super fast. There's no slowdown. Red pretty much got a little bit run and start there, but it's not contested. He it was contested. He blew the whistle and then he restarted it. This was a quick restart. In high school, we're gonna make sure there's no run and restart here. That the kid is stopped, and then we're restarting nearly as quick as not nearly as quick, but nearly as quick as this one. So this was a super quick play. It went over. It was contested. He blew his whistle. Red picked it up. He blew his whistle and went.
All good.
Unmute this, Jeff.
Well,
Unmute.
Yeah, can you play the sound on the video? If it doesn't work, don't worry about it.
I'm gonna play again.
Yeah, it doesn't come through on our end, but that's all right.
So what you see here is the Blacks on offense. The black defender six his cross across. You see the ref is right there in great position. The black defender keeps the ball in the front field with his cross. So in this instance, you're expecting an over and back. You may be anticipating an over and back. So don't be too quick to kill the play. Let the play out. You see the defender makes a great play and bounces the ball across with his stick. If he uses his So it's going to be contested here. You may have a loose ball push. You may have either white or black standing on the line to try to get the ball or keep the ball in the front field. So you got to watch for over and back. You're watching for offsides. You're watching for a loose ball push. And this was a great no call, or not a no call, great no anticipation whistle by the official.
This is a hard play for that official because his view is blocked and he's got a very close play on the line. And I don't see any help from his partner. And he's got to watch for offsides and pushing and over and back. So I just recommend if it's a two-man game, if the lead could come down at least a little bit and help with the pushing. He's not going to be able to see the line and the ball, but he could at least come down and help with a push or something, because that poor guy up there on the 50-yard line, he's got about four things he's got to watch.
You just skip that one, Jeff. I don't have notes for it because the audio was playing on my end.
Shannon, I have a over and back question.
Yeah, go ahead.
If the attackman and defenseman are standing at their own restraining line, in other words, they're not at the midline, but they're down deep in their zone at the restraining line, and the ball comes over on an over and back and ends up being touched by the offensive player at that restraining line, does the restart happen at the restraining line, or it seems to me the foul happens at the midline? Does the restart happen at the midline, or does it happen where the attackman touches the ball at the restraining line?
So once the ball goes over the line, you're going to put your hand up. You're going to say play on, because there's no contested. Nobody's coming at the ball. So you got to play on, because you don't know if you're going to have over and back, or if the old defense, new offense is going to just pick the ball up and go. So once it gets to an area of contest, then you kill the play, and that's where you killed it is where you restart it. So
Okay.
if somebody pursues the ball between the half field and the
It's not-
goal
it's-
area,
It's no longer a question. Once it crosses the midline, it's over and back.
no, it's a play on.
A play on for over and back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Slight difference between college rules and federation rules. For a college over and back, you think of the midline as a plane that comes up and over the midline, and if it breaks the plane, that's a violation. But in federation, the ball has to touch something. It either has to touch the
Okay.
line or something over the line, either the ground or a body. So it's just a slight difference in the rules there.
But
We have a test question. Team A has previously satisfied the 10-second count. Had possession inside the goal area. The ball becomes loose and crosses the midfield line, having last been touched by the defense. Has an over and back violation occurred? Go ahead, Jeff. So in this instance, the defense is the last to touch it. So there's no over and back. If the offense picks it up in the backfield and after they advance it, then you restart your 10-second count. Team A successfully advances the ball into its attack box. Which of the following would result in an over and back infraction on Team A? Go ahead, Jeff. So if the ball deflects off an offensive player's helmet, not on a shot, touches something on the opposite side, and A2 misses a pass from A1, the ball touches something on the opposite side. Advancing the ball in the goal area. Click on mute, see if this one works.
Hey Shannon, can I ask a question? I haven't taken the test yet as a rookie, but looking at that question where there was 2 correct answers, is that normal for them to do that? Or I would have thought it would have been like, they would have said, pick the best answers or something like that? Or is that just, you got to pick all the ones that are right? It's not like whittling it down to multiple choice kind of thing.
For the NFHS test, I believe it's all true false.
Yeah, just interesting. Okay, good enough.
I don't know. It's not all true false.
Not all of it is true false. Some of them will have.
No. It's got it's. So
I haven't taken
that
mine
question
either.
didn't exist in this year's. That question didn't exist in this year's test. They wouldn't put 2 correct answers. Like they haven't done that as far as I can tell. A lot of times
They don't.
I've seen questions that had no good answers, but so trying to pick
Indeed.
the best one is anybody's guess, but I haven't seen one that blatantly bad. So I wouldn't worry about it too much.
yeah, they're not trying to trick you. If they wanted 2 answers, they would say pick 2. If any, if they had 2.
Well, that's A and B and whatever. I mean, yeah.
Right. Good to hear. Thank you.
So the black team is advancing the ball. If you look at your far official, he's counting. He blows it up, calls a failure to advance. If you watch your near official, I can't tell. I'm not sure. We'll see it here if the kid touches. He appears to touch. The lead official has not turned to see the touch. The far official can't see the touch from his angle. So there's not any communication there that the kid touched. So the official with the knowledge that he had, made the call that he had to make. So the lead official, as lead official here, you need to get down. You need to turn. You need to be running with your head turned over your shoulder, seeing the plays behind you. You need to signal this. If you look over, you see your partner still counting. You need to keep pointing until he sees you. You need to keep signaling that the touch occurred until he sees you and kills his count or mirrors your touch.
Hey, Shannon, this appears to be a 3-man game. Now, most of us will be doing 2-man games. And I agree, if it's a 3-man game, that lead has to signal over to the single side. But in a 2-man game on advancing the ball, it would be the lead who has the count, and he would have his arm going, right?
Yeah.
So for most of us, it's going to be a 2-man game. So as that guy comes over in the midline, and the lead would start his count. And then once the guy goes in, he would, again, raise his arm up and then point in and hold it so that his trail partner can see that, yes, we've satisfied the 10-second count.
I think it's
Yeah.
important to also note that the trail needs to put his hand up when he crosses the midline coming in with the ball. So
Is this supposed to be the lead that's supposed to take the 10-second count?
in 2-man.
Yeah, 2-man.
Yeah, yeah. I know that 12 doing the 10-second count, not the lead. So
Yeah, I mean, there could have been another extenuating circumstance. Maybe the ball got kicked back over the midfield line by a defender, and they were in position to
have a quickly thought. Yeah, maybe.
with the trail. There's scenarios that maybe that far side official, whether it's 2 or 3, had that count. But my take on this is that defender in the black jersey clearly thought he was touching the box, right? So he went to that box, and either that lead official missed it, wasn't paying attention, forgot to give the arm signal to the far official. But, if I was in that circumstance, you may have even told, like, let's say he truly stepped right over the corner and didn't touch. You may want to tell that player, no, not in yet. You're not in. Just something like that. I'm not giving you the signal. And that would also help maybe cause any trouble. But boy, it sure looks like he's in. So whatever, maybe that official just forgot to give the signal, which was costly to the black team.
I know in this
Yeah, but I would disagree with you, Mike. When you start telling players they haven't gotten it in yet, you're turning them into a coach. And I think you want to stop. I don't think you want to be doing that.
Well, I know, I understand your point, but like I said, that's player in black thought he touched. And I'm just saying in general, if he thought he touched and he's waiting, you're not giving him the signal, maybe an explanation would help.
Only if it's the bench like it is here on your side. If it's the opposing bench and you start telling the player that coach is not going to be happy.
Let's continue that play. Let's say a mistake is made, that the guy stepped in and the lead official missed it. And all of a sudden, 2 seconds later, his partner on the other side goes, oh, failure to advance, 10-second violation. Okay. Now, what do you want to do at that point? If I were the lead official and I saw that he had touched in and I didn't signal it, I'd go tweet, 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 and I'd run over to my fellow official and say, I'm sorry, but he was in. So now we're going to correct the mistake, give the ball back to the black team, and they've satisfied the count, and away we go.
Team A is about to fail its 20-second clearing count requirement. The head coach of Team A calls a timeout to avoid a failure to advance. After the timeout, what happens to the clearing count? Do you start from where you left off, or do you get a new count? The count resets, so it's hard for us to remember for 2 minutes that we were on 14 or 18 or whatnot. So coach calls a timeout. We'll restart where the ball was, and they get a new 20 seconds to get it across.
What?
Yeah,
Where-
so the answer is B.
I'm confused.
Yeah, so the answer
Definitely
is B.
B, but why does it say A?
I don't know. My editor, I don't know who edited these Google slides, Jeff, but something
That was
happened.
me. That was my fault. I joined it on the fly this morning.
Must have been a Russian hack.
It's been hacked. It's been hacked.
So this is we'll see this. This is a long slide. It's like a minute long or video, but this is I think it's fourth quarter. There's like 3 minutes to go in the game. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, so we're not going to play this more than once. We're just going to, the general idea.
So there's 3.5 minutes to go here.
Right.
And
So
we
it's
just restarted with White possessing up by 2 in the fourth quarter.
You know, just realizing that the situation of this game, 6-8, 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. White's making no effort to attack. And, you know, whatever the refs are looking for, they're not calling stalling, which is a mistake.
So this play started with like 3:25, 3:26 to go, I think. We're down 40 seconds here. The refs have not called for keep it in, get it in, keep it in.
I think the important point is here that, you know, maybe traditionally we've always thought it was under a 2 minute rule. We're looking for the 2 minutes in the time, but this is an appropriate time to have done this earlier.
So they continue to swing it around. They're not advancing towards the goal. They're just stalling. They did actually score, but they took 90 seconds off the clock. The refs, the officials did not require them to get it in, keep it in. For me, I about 20 seconds into that, I would have put it on.
By talking to your other official or giving them a signal.
By giving them the get it in, keep it in signal.
Couple things here with stalling. There are two types of stalling, really. There's the automatic stalling with under 2 minutes with a team that is, 4 goals or fewer. That's automatic stalling. And then there's kind of the ad hoc officials applied stalling, which can happen anytime in that first 46 minutes, I guess, of the game, in which the officials put it on. And this is a case where they should have put it on way, way, way sooner than they did. I don't even think they did. And I think what they were thinking was, they kind of watched the play go, well, yeah, it kind of looks like it, but we're getting close to 2. Well, yeah, okay, well, yeah, okay, well, we're getting close to 2 where it's going to be automatic. Well, they should have put this on at about 3 minutes to go in the game, and with a get it in and keep it in.
A question for everybody. So if a game in a blowout into the fourth quarter or whatever, like say it's 16-2, you know, would you still need the star warning just to try to promote the other team to get more goals in the way, or like what?
I would say yes. You want to give the defense a chance too. That helps them.
Yeah, I was going to say if there's 10 minutes left in the game and you're up by 5 and the other team's, you know, basically stalling, is it a get it in and keep it in call, or is it a stalling warning? Do you actually call get it in and keep it in at that point?
Well, you don't blow the whistle for stalling
Right.
until they have been warned to get it in and keep it in, and then maybe fail to adhere to that warning by doing whatever they have to do, getting it in or keeping it in. But the call is not made until they fail to adhere to that warning that you've given them verbally and visually.
Right, I guess, but I mean, in terms of terminology, when you're telling them and it's 10 minutes left in the game and they're up by 5 and they're stalling, do you say you're stalling, or do you say get it in and keep it in?
I say get it in and keep it in.
Okay.
So just so you know, at high school, when you do that before the 2 minute, the kids have no idea what's going on. You gotta scream it many times, because we've done that before. And again, immediately some guy takes it out and you're like, well, it's a stall. It's a turnover. But boy, they really have no idea. They know they're stalling, but they're not expecting the official to call it until inside. And that's lack of education on the coaches and the players, right? Because they don't always know the rules. But you you can, when you call it, make sure everybody hears it loudly. You know what I mean? And I repeat it, get it in, keep it in, really loud, because they won't know.
The best time, I think the best time I've been, the best time a call, get it in, keep it in, if it's over 2 minutes left in the game, is when the ball behind the goal. When the goal,
Right.
and the players are not even moving the ball around. That way, it gives them an opportunity to hear what you're saying, but also, if you're outside the box with the ball and they step it in and they step back out, well, that's a turnover right there. So it doesn't give them enough time to process what the call is.
Well, under 2 minutes, it's an automatic.
Yeah, if it's under 2 minutes,
Less
that's a
than 4,
different
yeah.
situation. Yeah.
Under
So I'm
2
just saying,
minutes,
yeah.
that's their problem. If they step in and step out under 2 minutes, that's their problem. But if it's an official's warning, say
Right.
earlier in the game, then of course you'd want to make sure maybe the guy was at X behind the goal before you put on the stall warning. You don't want to trap them in that situation.
Yeah, correct.
A yard out on the restraining line or something. Yeah, let them get it in fairly securely into that area and then put it on. But with under 2 minutes, baby, that's their problem.
Yeah.
If they're near that line, too bad.
Go ahead, Jeff. So team A has possession in the third quarter, warned to get it in, keep it in. Certain things would cause the stall warning to end. A goal would cause the stall warning to end. A shot that is taken with the shooter's cross above goal line extended that hits the goalkeeper or the pipe would end the stall warning. And if the defense gains possession, then the stall warning would be off as well. You see D here, if A shoots from below goal line extended and hits the pipe or hits the goalie, that's not considered a shot. So that is not going to end your get it in, keep it in stall warning.
Shannon, there's one more. If a quarter ends and a face-off is pending, then the stall warning is off.
Oh,
What if the offense calls a timeout?
If the offense calls a timeout when? Just before the quarter ends or anytime?
No,
During
during the get it in, keep it in.
During the stalling?
It's still on.
But once you get it outside, they get how many seconds to get it back into the crease? Because when you time out, you take it outside the crease, not the crease, but the restraining line. You get so many seconds to get it into the restraining area, and then the stall's on.
10, you get 10 seconds.
Right.
So Rob, good point. If the coach calls a timeout, says, okay, whatever he's drawing, whatever he's telling his players, we would get together, and we would continue the get it in, keep it in. They come out, you put the signal on after you restart whistle, you put the signal on, both officials would signal for get it in, keep it in. They would again repeat, get it in, keep it in, get it in, keep it in. For this instance, Eric, if we are restarting high at like midfield or what, or, you know, high or in trails area, we talk about this in our pregame. Trail would have the count. They would get it in, keep it in, get it in, keep it in. And then he would have the count. They would have to satisfy the count and then keep it in.
Well, the start's going to be lateral to where they called the timeout.
Yeah, it would have to be in the alley.
That would not occur if it was over the end line. If it's over the end line in the box, they will restart at that spot
In the box.
behind the goal. And on the restart, they're not coming out to the alley. They're starting right there, and it's
That's right.
there's no get it in at that point. It's keep it in.
Right, but if they're in the box above GLE, we're going to start lateral to their position or outside on the high side.
I think that's the best route. Yeah.
Yeah, I asked that for discussion for the new folks because that's going to happen.
Oh, so you start the ball right on the spot of the timeout, no matter where the ball is inside the box.
Right. It goes laterally outside.
Unless it's
Okay.
below GLE,
Right.
Okay.
and then it starts where they were at GLE.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Offside. Everybody's favorite call.
So we've already counted forward here. There are 6 defenders in the front field. Red 10 initiates body contact and is pushed offsides. He is unable to avoid offsides, and a flag down, slow whistle procedure ensues. So whether or not he runs across by his own, you know, if he is legally bumped offsides, then he's offsides. Go ahead.
Paul Trono once gave me some great advice in a rather humorous way. There's a little bit of truth to it, but I don't want any coaches to hear this. I never call offsides unless somebody's yelling for it. I've always remembered.
Paul taught me that too.
And my other one at St. Michael's, when Jeff Holton was there, I said he wasn't that far over.
Then what happened?
I kind of like doing that because I think it goes against the spirit of the rule. Usually when you're thinking about offside, you're thinking about playing with too many men on one side, right? I mean, I don't disagree with what you say, Paul. You know what I mean? Because there are definitely technical calls we let go sometimes, right? Because it doesn't change the play.
Well, it doesn't.
Right.
That one did on that one, on that particular one, because it was an advantage to the kid to be offsides to try to check him.
Right.
Yeah, totally agree with Paul on that.
Yes.
The kid took advantage of making a check when he shouldn't have been able to do that. So that's one you got to throw.
I agree. But like I said, I like the way he's talking about in the spirit, right? Unless they're screaming for it, I don't disagree with that. So,
If they're not screaming, they didn't see it either. So
right.
I would totally disagree. Line violations are absolute. You step out of bounds, you are out of bounds. You step on the crease, you're on the crease. You step offsides, you are offsides. Line violations are absolute. There is no wiggle room.
Take my card.
I agree with that.
Oh, I got one more thing on offsides. So I go to Rutland with George, I think. Oh, we can stop this play because I'm talking. I got to watch it. So the Woodstock coach, or I can't remember who it was, Vern Burton coach, he says, you know, this midline isn't very delineated. It's not very clear. Can we just kind of, kind of wiggle room here and, don't get too picky here on offsides? I go, what would you like us to use then? What do you want us to do? If it's a yard, it's okay. If it's 2 yards, it's okay. What do we want to do here, Coach? Well, I just think we should get a little consideration here. I said, no, we're going to use the line as best we can, and we're going to call offsides. He tried.
Hey, I painted that line at midnight. That's why I think I got let go.
I think from my experience in some of the college officials too, the hardest part about offside is that when they substitute in front of the back. So that's always, if you're on the far side of the field, looking toward the back, that's always difficult to get offside, especially when they substitute cross in front of the line. So that's something you have to keep in mind, especially for the newbie trying to understand and see. You're looking down the entire line through the substitution batch as well. So that's something, it's always tough to catch. You have to have a lot of experience and a good eye to actually see that sometimes. If you miss it, you miss it. Move on.
Yeah, and there's no shortage of videos. These are fun to watch. I mean, this one's a little bit easy, he falls over, but you know, watching some of this transition play, again, a lot of the stuff is out there for you to watch clips on your own to catch some of the nuances that may occur in fast action.
Go ahead, Jeff. We'll run through these next 2 offsides. Again, we've already counted forward. There are 6 defenders in the front field. No, we're playing line 27. Sorry. Player in the dark jersey steps off sides while trying to keep the ball in play. Lines are hot going in. Therefore, when a player is offsides, steps, go to the next slide, Jeff. I think I'm on a slide ahead here. I can't count them all.
You have a more.
Here's the kick. Player in dark jersey steps off sides while trying to keep the ball in play. Lines are hot going in. Therefore, when the player in red is offsides, when he steps on the center line and kicks the ball into the front field. So whether he's in this instant,
Technically, that's an over and back. That's an over and back in that situation.
Well, you don't know if they made the box or not, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
so again, just like Eric said earlier, lines are hot. You step on a line, you're out of bounds. You step on the line, and you're on defense. Going forward, it's offsides.
I wonder who the officials are in this game. Is this a one-man game? I don't see any officials on the far field either.
No.
It's 1 man on 2 games.
1 in the center, I believe.
Yeah, there's nobody there.
The next technical foul is holding. This is our final technical foul for this slideshow. Go ahead to 28, Jeff.
Holding. Oh, yeah.
Defender uses his cross to hold the ball carrier and impede his progress. The defender uses his cross to pull back on the attacking player. This is a holding foul. The officials need to be observant that the point of contact is not the head or neck. In this example, the contact is very high on the shoulder and possibly on the neck. This was ruled as holding. Should you deem it to be on the head or neck at the point of contact, it would no longer be a technical foul.
Well, that's a good discussion point. I know I always would call that a hold because it wasn't a personal foul, meaning he didn't slash or legal body check the guy. He was literally holding him. And that happens a lot where it gets up around there. But at least I don't ever call that a 2-minute non-releasable foul.
I think the good move there, if you think it's pretty violent and maybe that held was more of a takedown, getting under the chin, you could go unnecessary roughness.
Then you've got to go 2 minutes.
It's a good option. That's a good option. Unnecessary roughness. Yeah. if you're not going to do a hold, you probably could go unnecessary, but
Why do you
If
have
you
to?
go, if you go on this, if you go unnecessary roughness, don't you have to call it 2 minutes then? Because I mean, clearly it was to the neck. Why not?
1, 2, 3.
Mandatory 2 minutes if it's to the head or neck.
Well, I'm not going to argue if it's mandatory there or not. I'm just saying I think I could sell it as a takedown. But yeah, if his helmet comes off, you know, if you use it like a can opener, then yeah, maybe I'd go to 2 minutes.
But the coach is going to come to you and say, okay, so you've got unnecessary roughness. Are you saying that wasn't to the neck? What's your answer to that question?
head
Yes,
or neck is illegal body check. Unnecessary roughness is not a mandatory 2 minutes if it's up around the head.
I know what
That
you're saying.
again? Say that again, Eric.
Well, you could go unnecessary roughness. It says an excessively violent infraction of the rules against holding. So I think if you're going to go contact to the head and neck, you'd have to go illegal body check. Head and neck.
Then you're still got to go 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're going illegal body check to the head or neck, I would go, you have to go 2 minutes.
Right.
But if you're going unnecessary roughness, it's like, yeah, it was a hold, but it was a pretty bad hold. So I'm going to go unnecessary roughness 1 minute, release it. Is one option.
But unnecessary roughness is a personal foul, not a technical foul.
Well,
So
no,
if
and
it's
that's what, so again, should you deem it to be on the head or neck at the point of contact, it would no longer be a technical foul.
Correct.
You could say, well, that was excessive. So that's why, or unnecessary. That was unnecessary. So then you have unnecessary roughness.
Right, which is a personal foul.
Right.
And if it's personal foul to the head or neck, it's a 2 minute, automatic. So you've locked yourself into a 2 minute foul if you call that.
Well, that would perturb them from doing it again, from getting up in the neck area with their cross. I mean,
yeah, well, but clearly that foul was not, that wasn't unnecessary.
It is a point of emphasis from the Federation that we get these. So
Yeah, understood. But aren't you demonstrating technical fouls in this presentation?
We are, but
Thank
again, should you deem it to be on the head or neck, it would no longer be a technical foul.
So what was that then?
It was called a hold in this instance.
Right. And you wouldn't call that a hold in the game? It was a hold. Clearly was a hold.
I mean, you get up and close on a guy with your stick, then it would be up to interpretation.
Yeah, frankly, if I watch places once more, Jeff, please. I think the video is just choppy enough. Did you get him on the shoulder, or is he really, prying his helmet off?
Oh, it's up high. Right there.
I don't know. Shoulder.
Whatever. I like I said, I would call it a hold, so I wouldn't argue with you that it's a hold. But I was just saying that if you call it something different, then you're locked into 2 minutes. And to me, that doesn't look like anything like a 2 minute foul.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't go 2 minutes. That's for sure.
we agree that it's a hold, so let's go forward.
Yeah, we want to be considerate of the time here. We are close. We want to make sure Craig Benson has a minute to talk about the upcoming schedule. How many more slides are there?
2.
Perfect. Thanks for everyone's patience on this as we wrap this up. I think holding is going to be the one thing that we see most often, and it may be subject to interpretation more than most technicals. The lines, offsides, things like that. This is going to be live action stuff, and it's up to us to
Just restart this one, Jeff.
make the call.
During the face-off, there are two holds during this face-off. One of the 2 holds is called
That's a knee to the stick.
Blue plants his knee on White's cross.
Yeah, hard to see,
It's
but
holding.
right there.
Later in this face-off, he has his entire forearm on the cross of his opponent in white. This is also holding. So we'll see the first one, boom, right there. And then right here, he puts his whole forearm on the cross.
Yeah, the official missed both of them.
So if this is a 3-man game, then the helper is going to see the first one, the knee. That guy was pretty stationary. So
He's over top of him.
and then our final hold. Defender in red holds the forearm of the ball carrier. The defender restrains the forward progress of the ball carrier and actually rips his hand off the cross. This is holding.
He also trips him.
Oh, we did talk about that or they do speak on that in the video, and
The hold came first.
right. But these are good verbs to use for, if the coach says, what happened there? The defender restrained his forward progress. I mean, if you say that to a coach, there's not much they can come back with, He restrained his forward progress. Definition of a hold.
Yeah, but unless you're going to call a 1-minute penalty after the 30-second penalty, you'd better blow it dead quick. Because you've locked yourself in again. If you have your hand up for a hold and then you decide it's a trip after that, you can't say I'm only going to call a hold because the trip happened after it. You've locked yourself into 2 penalties there, fellas.
Well, you wouldn't have your hand. You would throw the flag.
Yeah, throw the flag. Correct.
Right.
Say he dragged him down, coach. It was a hold. He dragged him down.
Exactly.
So technical fouls we talked about earlier. It's 30 seconds on the defense or turnover on the offense. There are 2 exceptions for these penalties. First exception, a loose ball technical foul by team B followed by a personal foul by team A during the play on would result in both players serving penalty time. And then our second exception, during the slow whistle, a loose ball technical foul a second technical foul committed by the defense would be a time serving penalty. Eric, do you want to expound upon those exceptions?
Pound or expound?
Expound.
Okay. Technical fouls, Rule 6, you got about 12 of them. They're put in the rule book after the personal fouls for a reason, because they're misdemeanors. They're not felonies. So you can find your technical fouls all through those pages of Rule 6 and through a lot of pages in the rules of the game, and that's Rule 4. All 30 of those or so would be technical fouls. So I find that personal fouls are pretty easy, and pretty easy for easy in the sense that everyone sees them and it's kind of evident. And I think for new guys, they're kind of easy to call, but it's the technical fouls where we can get into a lot of trouble. So spend some time with it.
So the exception for number 2 is the easier one, an easy one here. If we gotta push, or I'm sorry, we gotta put a play on. A play on means that the offense we have a loose ball technical. We got to play on, so the offense is going to have the ball when that play on ends. So if we get a technical foul, a second play on, you get a second push. That's going to be a flag because the offense is entitled to the ball. So that's why your second loose ball push is going to have a 30-second penalty, because the offense has the ball, whether the ball's on the ground or not.
Yeah, I would just add this comment, which I do with anybody I've ref with who's not ref before. When you call play on, there's no reason to call play off, that it's off. Just leave it. You're going to regret it someday when you say off and the guy loses the ball and you want to give it back to him.
Right.
Steve, I'd also add, if you're a new ref, forget about play on for your first year or two. Just blow the.
Yeah, that's it. That's even a better point. Thank you.
So these are our technical fouls. If you go back to like slide 3 or 4, you'll see all of the technical fouls. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of illegal procedures. You're going to want to get in Rule 6 and go over those. Playing the ball from out of bounds. If you're touching out of bounds, you play the ball, then it's illegal. The last slide there talked about, we're 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away from reffing. So if you're not reffing right now, you may want to get out and run. You may want to start stretching. You want to take a look at your uniform. Maybe you need a new shirt or new shorts, new flags. Pull out your timer, test it with your stopwatch. Some of them are adjustable. I've never figured out how to do that. Check your timer. You may need a new timer because you need your timer in the high school game.
Excellent. Hey, this is great. I mean, guys, really a lot of effort on Shannon, by Shannon on his part. So really appreciate that. But again, it's up to all of us to kind of do our own training, take responsibility, look at the stuff, watch the videos. It's going to be on our website, or you can search through other websites as well. I'm not going to name them all off. I want to give Craig Benson a chance here. I know you had some stuff to share.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so this is I got the schedule in right now. I know it's going to change. The South is changing a lot of their games because they cannot play anybody from out of state. So it's going to be a little fluid, but right now you can see I have some heavy days, specifically May 4th. I've got 10 this is just varsity games right now. I've got 10 varsity games. So that's 20 officials, right? And that's, I think the 4th is on a Tuesday. The first day, the 17th, we've got 7 games scheduled. So we want to be ready. The 17th, right now, it looks like it's going to happen on the 17th, the actual start. I mean, that's what the VPA is recommending. There's no reason to believe that the state is going to deny that request. So, but after that, you can see it's pretty steady, 5 to 7 games throughout a short amount of time.
Greg,
Yes, sir.
you said on the 4th you had 10 games, 20 officials. Are there no 3-man games this year?
Well,
you-
I'm just saying I need a minimum of 20 officials that day.
Right. I'm just
Right.
you
There
wanna
will be,
do
I
3.
will work 3 games when we can, right? We definitely need to do that, right? So, but at a minimum on the 4th, I need 20. So that's the key thing to remember. So there's plenty of games. We're going to be plenty busy. The new guys, there's plenty of JV games. There's only a few teams in the state that don't have JV. And we'll have guys moving around to watch. I'll be out and about watching. Paul is going to help us. George, of course, has already said he'd be out and about watching. So,
Yeah, make it.
Not have to do this year.
What's that, Jeff? Sorry.
Other teams that's not going to have varsity this year. I know Randolph was one of them the last few years that did not have varsity team, but they did have a JV team.
yeah, same thing last year. They told me they haven't actually reached out to me this year. Last year they only had a JV. So if they didn't have any varsity games scheduled last year, it's currently not on here because they didn't have any last year. So for the most part, the NVAC, what they do is they do 2 years of scheduling. They send the schedule. And then the next year when I get that schedule, it's the exact same schedule. The dates are different, but the days are the same. So if it, with the same exact opponents, right? The only difference is if you played on a Tuesday, May 4th, on May 3rd, Tuesday the next year, you might be away versus home if you were home the year before. That's the only difference we see from year to year schedules in their 2-year cycles. The South, like I said, they told me they're going to make adjustments. 1, they want to get as many games as they can, but 2, because they can't go out of state, they have to create more games within state against each other. So Well, you know, they can't go out of state and they can't bring anybody to play from in-state. Now, Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, we can still use out-of-state officials coming to work in Vermont. From what I understand, that is still okay.
I haven't heard anything differently about that, no.
Right, neither have I. So I think that's good because there's going to be a lot of southern games because a lot of teams down south do not like to travel that far north. So
What kind of effect does that have on Vermont Academy and
Right, yeah.
the
So-
other one that plays at Landmark?
well, from what I understand so far, Stratton Mountain, I don't think is playing a season. Have not heard 100% on Vermont Academy. They're still weighing it. Right? We don't know if they're going to play because they can't bring somebody in.
I don't think they play lacrosse anyway.
Is that what it's called there? They play, right?
Yeah.
So Craig, I got to run, but let me just, I would just make one suggestion, especially for us guys who do more than one state.
Right.
You know, on these busy days, you know, if you assign them and maybe put a note in there, you know, then for us who do more than one state, we can block out our other state associations quickly. So we
Right.
guarantee you that we're available.
Have you started getting assignments yet from out of state?
No, not yet.
Right. I want to be first. That's my goal, is to get you in there first, Steve. So all my out of state guys, that's what I want to do. So yeah, my hope is that when I get the remake of the South, I'm going to have that stuff in probably that same day and I will start assigning.
Sounds good.
My point would be to everyone on the call is to take a look at these dates, do a screenshot, write some notes, whatever, on these busy days. You know, do your assigner a favor and try to clear your calendar now for these days. But when you do have stuff that you need to do, get into Arbiter and start blocking stuff out. The only thing
Block them right away. Exactly.
worse for Craig to start figuring things out and then have people turning games back. It doesn't help.
Is it easier for Craig to send this chart out to all of us? Or is there some other way I can go in and access this?
So all I did here, Eric, is I downloaded what's in the Arbiter.
Yeah.
And then I created a pivot chart in Excel to create this. So I could send this out, but it's going to change. I know it's going to change a little bit, right?
All right.
So I'm pushing on the Southern Vermont League to get me that schedule as soon as possible. I need it like right away. So otherwise I'd already started signing, right? Because the North hasn't changed anything. If they had a game scheduled before the 17th last year, they're just not doing it and they're not remaking it.
Well, listen, I'm going to, I'll wrap this up now then. I think we've done a great job. We got everything out. You know, we are going to have one more of these next Sunday. We're going to try to make it our last for rules interpretation. We just appreciate everyone's participation more than anything. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Hey, guys, get your shots.
Did you get both of yours?
Monday's my second